Hello, and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan, and we're doing a stream today. This is not the deadline stream, don't worry about that. There will be another stream later on today, but we're going to do a slightly earlier stream today. Just because, I've run out of time to make videos. I basically ran out of time to make videos this morning / last night because some of you guys may know I've uploaded 4 times in 33 hours as of last night. An insane amount of uploads in a short period of time because unfortunately I was away at the weekend, which means I really needed to catch up on content. And yeah, it's just been a crazy busy time. I had a good old sleep last night to try and catch up, and then or just on live, and now we're back and doing a bit more of a live version of our final decisions video, which we would usually upload on a Friday morning. So that's what we're going to do today. Cover all of those final decisions, look at some of the injury news, kind of answer some questions as well. Hopefully you guys have some questions, and we'll do that at the end as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it, what we're going to do today, guys. So hopefully you enjoy. If you do, drop a like. It really does help out the channel a lot. And do subscribe if you're new around here, and get involved in the chat. A few more quick notes. We've got new emojis for the chat. If you're a member of the channel, you might notice there's a few new emojis there, so feel free to enjoy those. Let's get started, though. Let's get started indeed. So, right. So, first of all, this is my team. I have not made... I just realised I need to change the kind of notes on the ticker down the bottom, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll update them for later on. I forgot to do that. Yeah, this is my team. Still no changes for me yet, but I've already kind of said in my video last night what changes I'm eyeing up. I'm still leaning towards making both of those transfer decisions, but I haven't done them yet. So this is what my team looks like currently. It's okay. There is a couple of issues to address, but I got 2 free transfers, so hopefully we'll be able to do that quite easily, and maybe we'll talk about some of the potential moves that you guys could be making and I might be making in this very stream. We've got a couple of super chats, so let's get rid of them first of all. Thank you very much. I do appreciate all the support. Craig says Mitoma to Bowen for a -4 or play Bulldog, a wildcard game week 5. I mean, if it's a case of playing Bowen -4 or Bulldog, I would go for Bowen there for a -4. It's a bit of a risk, but I feel like the odds are that will pay off for you. Here for FPL with a super chat here as well. Says, is it worth taking a -4 hit to upgrade a 4 million or removing Saliba to avoid playing? Well, Saliba, if so, who for? I have 1.3 in the bank. Thanks, mate. I wouldn't take a -4 for it. I don't think. So, yeah, hopefully that answers that question. I don't think I'd take a -4. The defender I'm eyeing up at the moment is Udogie, maybe Gvardiol as well. Udogie and Gvardiol are the 2 defenders I like the look of at the moment. So, yeah, but I'm not sure if it's worth a -4, really, to be honest. I would maybe just play Saliba, or if you've got Bulldog on your bench, maybe play him instead. That could potentially work there as well. One more super chat here from Chris W, and that is a W of a super chat, £4.99. Appreciate that, Chris. Hold or sell Ødegaard for Maddison, or roll a transfer after the international break? I would sell Ødegaard and bring in Maddison personally. Yeah, I think if you have Ødegaard in your team, I think it's a fairly easy sell right now. Yeah, just get rid of him, bring in Maddison, bring in Sterling, bring in Foden, bring in whoever you want to bring in who looks good in the upcoming game weeks. But Ødegaard is probably going to be a player that I would be quite willing to remove. His numbers are just not good at all. They really aren't. I feel like he is suffering a little bit from the inclusion of Havertz. And now we know Ødegaard's not going to be on penalties necessarily going forward. I think that damages his kind of impact as well. So Ødegaard, I just don't think he's going to be the same guy as last season. So, yeah, we'll maybe leave him in the past. All right, so okay, we've got a decent amount of people here now, so I feel like we start off with the with what I want to talk about today. Basically, first of all, I want to have a quick run through the news. I've decided to go on Ben Dinnery's Twitter account to look at all of the press conference stuff. Maybe I can find a better source next time, but Ben, he puts it all together, and it's quite nice to have it all in one place. But yeah, I'm struggling for time, so I'm having to kind of use other people's content in a way. But no, big shout out to Ben there. So yeah, news here from Chelsea. Pochettino on Benoit Badiashile, Broja, and Mudryk. They won't play tomorrow. This was in regards to the Carabao Cup. It looks like Badiashile and Broya are still not going to be available for this game week, which is good news for Jackson, and it's good news for Colwill as well. And maybe Mudryk plays, but he's closer apparently, but still not guaranteed there. Varane is going to miss the game against Arsenal, so is Luke Shaw, so that's going to be really interesting for our Arsenal attackers there, particularly on that side of the defence. Although, to be fair, it's usually Varane just kind of more on the right, isn't he? So, got Varane on the right centre-back, Shaw on the left centre-back, left back, I guess. We'll probably see Dalot play at left-back for Manchester United. So there's going to be a couple of defensive absentees for Manchester United this game week, which is going to be quite something. A couple more super chats here. Jack says, greeting from Indonesia. Osula for Watkins? No, I play Watkins ahead of Osula. And Abdel says, sell Martinelli or Rashford or roll the transfer? Abdel, we are going to be answering that question later on in this stream, so do stay tuned for that. And aside from that, Richardson has a bit of a knock. Yeah, we don't really know the full extent. Hopefully we'll get answers this afternoon in the afternoon press conferences, and we'll cover that on the deadline stream later on today. Obviously, we saw that the Archer was playing, but I feel like this might be the end of Osula, by the way. I know Jack there did ask me about Osula. It looks like he's going to be done. I think he's going to be done now. It's going to be all about Archer going forward. Going through here quickly, trying to find more things that I'm trying to find. So no Joel Linton. We've got here Brendan Johnson has moved. We know that. Well, it looks like he's done. He's going to be going to Spurs. Nuno Tavares is signed from Arsenal to Nottingham Forest. He's going to be playing as a left back there. Hopefully, we've got... What else have we got? We want to whiz through these because I feel like a lot of it is fairly boring this week in terms of press conferences from yesterday. Keep moving. A few Sheffield United kind of absentees, nothing too interesting there. Nunez has moved to Manchester City. That's done. Loads of transfers today, guys, by the way. Transfer deadline day. I'm sure we might even get some more transfer confirmations during this stream as well, which is going to be kind of interesting. Ollie Watkins got rested on Thursday in the Europa Conference League qualifier. So did Matty Cash. Both of those, Cash came off the bench. But yeah, we did see... and Cash wasn't he involved in a goal again? Crazy stuff. But yeah, it looks like those players are going to be nice and rested, ready for that Liverpool game. I don't want to try and get to the Liverpool news because we do have some Liverpool news. Here it is. Okay, so Klopp confirms Ibu Konate is out of the Villa game on Sunday despite being called into the French squad. So there's going to be no Konate. There's going to be no Van Dijk. Liverpool are going to be lining up this game week with, Matip and Gomez as their two centre-backs, which is interesting to say the least. So, yeah, I feel like there is a good chance that Aston Villa can score some goals against Liverpool this game week. They have got some defensive problems, let's just put it that way. Still no Thiago Alcantara as well there for Liverpool, who look like they're signing Gravenberch. It's going to be kind of interesting. No Botman this week. He is going to be injured, so that is another thing to consider. If you're thinking about buying Botman and playing him this game week, that is not going to work, unfortunately. Botman is still injured, but the injury is not as bad as they first expected, and this is just a precaution. We expect Botman to be back and starting after the international break from game week 5 onwards, so just a small, minor setback for Botman there. Super chats. Let's catch up on super chats. We've got a super chat here from someone random. My sugar daddy himself says, I'm in a dilemma. Bench Mitoma or Estupinian. Also, please tell my mate why Martinelli is not a good shout. He wildcarded and now he's getting Martinelli in. Yeah, wouldn't be getting Martinelli in on a wildcard. I think that's just not because Martinelli's a bad shout necessarily, but just because there's so many other great midfielders available right now. And the problem is with game week 4 for Martinelli is that he faces Wan-Bissaka. And it always seems to be the case that when you play against Manchester United, if you're the left-sided winger, you're probably not going to get too much joy there. So yeah, that's why I would not be going for Martinelli. Not because he's a bad pick, but because there's so many other good picks and it's a really difficult fixture for him, a difficult matchup, positional matchup there for him. In terms of benching Mitoma or Estupinian, usually I would say back the attacker, so I guess I'll say that again. Play Mitoma and bench Estupinian, but that's only because we're backing the attacker. No other reason for that. We've got a super chat here from Nikhil as well. Hi, friendo. I might not be on later, so here I am. 54 points in Game Week 3. Another small green arrow. I'm torn. Got Johnston and Turner. Do I make the transfer to Stupinian or Udogie? I would make a transfer right now for Johnston or Turner. Leave them both in. You're all good to go. We will speak about them a little bit in this stream as well. Remember, I'm trying to cover all of the main topics, and I will get through all of them. That is definitely one of them that I want to talk about today. I've got that prepped. So in terms of making a transfer, you know, no, I wouldn't do that, but we'll go through that more in a bit. Stupinian or Udogie, I would back Udogie this week. I would be backing Udogie this week. So there we go. Moving on. We've got to keep whizzing through this. So this is the Sterling versus Maddison debate. It's a big old debate, isn't it, chaps? It certainly is. People are pretty much going to war in the FPL world. Sterling versus Maddison. Who is going to be the better pick? Some of you guys might even be going for both of them. Fair play if you are. But this is the debate. And guys, we are on... I don't know if I've really shown you this before, but this is one of the many Fantasy Football Hub tools that we have available to us as Fantasy Football Hub members. And this is the player comparison tool where you can directly compare two players, which is really nice when you're trying to make those FPL decisions and seeing what each player has offered recently. So definitely do recommend you check this out if you are a Fantasy Football Hub member. Really good for making those final decisions if you're stuck between two players and having a look at it. We are going to go through this graphic here and explain it to you guys, but I definitely do need to say it is the last day. I'm really trying to help you out today, guys. It's the last day to get the best possible deal on your Fantasy Football Hub subscriptions. You've only got until deadline. If you subscribe before deadline to Fantasy Football Hub, you get access to all of their amazing tools, the My Team tool, player comparison, Opta stats, predicted points, so much more. Ben Krellin's transfer and double game week planner. That's a really big thing that's going to come later on in the year as well. Become really useful. There's so much stuff, and now is your final time to get the best possible deal of the year, 50% off, and you will get your money back that you pay for your subscription if you don't win your mini league. So win your mini league or your money back plus 50% off. You can only get this deal if you subscribe before deadline. And I know I'm pushing this a lot. And it's because, one, I love this service. I really do. Obviously, I am taking a cut. I do get commissions on sales, and by pushing this stuff to you guys, not only do you get a great product, but it helps support the channel as well, which is really important. You guys know that I don't paywall content. I'll never charge you for content. Well, certainly not at the moment. I may do that one day, but right now I'm just saying I'm not going to paywall content. So there's a lot of other FPL content creators that you have to pay the money to see a lot of their content. We don't do that here. We don't take gambling sponsors either. I know a lot of other FPL content creators do take those gambling sponsors as well. So you guys signing up to the services that I actually do promote, and I don't do many ads. I really don't do many ads because I feel like I have a moral obligation, but this is a service, this is a product I genuinely love. I genuinely use it all the time. I cannot recommend it to you enough. Like, you really, if you are serious about your FPL, you really need to get on it. And now's your last chance to get the best deal. So, get Fantasy Football Hub. Link in the description, 50% off. And your money back if you don't win your mini league. There you go. There's the plug. Supports the channel and supports your FPL. Trust me, it will really help you out. But anyway, looking at this players comparison tool, what we have is a situation where you can see that one shape is slightly larger than the other. That is Maddison's big old shape there. It's looking quite nice, isn't it? So we can see that in general, The only statistic so far this season that Sterling is beating Maddison on is touches in the box. Yeah, we've seen Sterling last couple of games, really impressive the way he's driving into the box and, you know, dribbling around a little bit. And that's going to be beneficial. If you're in and around the box, you're going to get opportunities to score goals. You're going to get those opportunities. It works. But I have to say, Sterling played Luton. And I do feel like that does need to factor in. When we look at Spurs and who they've played so far, it's kind of been, well, I guess for both teams it's been mixed fixtures, but Spurs haven't played a Luton. They've played a Bournemouth. I wouldn't say Bournemouth is quite a Luton really, but still, it's definitely something to consider. And when you look at Maddison, he's had some tough fixtures, some okay fixtures so far, and his numbers are still phenomenal. If we look at his creativity, it's nuts right now. This is per start, 0.75 expected assists per start, similar XG to Sterling there, so around 0.5 XG per game. So if we look at that, that's basically over 1 expected FPL return per game. And Sterling is kind of coming at just under 1 expected return per game. All of those numbers for Sterling were really generated against Luton. Before that, we kind of saw that, it wasn't looking so good. In fact, if we look at I do think Sterling is a good pick. I want to make that very clear. I do think Sterling is a good pick. But I do want to show you that actually before the Luton game, Sterling's numbers were not particularly impressive. So if we go game week range, again, we're on the Fantasy Football Hub tool again because I love these things. This is the Opta Stats tool. But you can see before the Luton game, Sterling had only had 1 shot and he'd only made 2 key passes. He'd only generated 0.1 XG and he'd only generated 0.18 XA. So it really is a case that pretty much all of the good numbers that Sterling has generated so far was a home game against Luton Town. And I think that does need to be taken into consideration before making that key decision between Maddison and Sterling. And I know a lot of you guys will have gone on Sterling already, and you're probably not going to be too happy about me saying that necessarily, but I just prefer Maddison. I just prefer him. Like you can see here, if we were going in game week 3, and we knew we had Maddison and Sterling in game week 3, both had similar fixture difficulties. If they were both playing Luton, for example, if both Maddison and Sterling were playing Luton in game week 3, and we've just finished game week 2, and we've got these numbers in front of us, who are we picking? You would prefer this Maddison against Luton than you would this Sterling against Luton. So I do think that's a really, really good, a really important thing to kind of take on board here. That all of Sterling's numbers were generated against Luton. There wasn't really much going for him apart from touches in the box. Like he is the king of touches in the box. Aside from that, it wasn't looking too good. Not really expected to be involved in any goals whatsoever. 8% expected goal involvement in that Chelsea side before. So it's something to be aware of. But at the same time, you could say that Sterling has been given confidence by what we've just seen. If we go to Sterling's fixtures as well, you might really like the look of these. Got Forest and Bournemouth next 2. We've got Fulham and Burnley in 7 and 8 as well, which is pretty nice, isn't it? And maybe that's a factor, and obviously Sterling is a little bit cheaper, so maybe that's going to be a kind of a factor as well. If we look at Spurs, for example, the fixtures are a little bit different in terms of structure. So we've got Burnley and Sheffield next 2, which is 2 nice fixtures. Arsenal and Liverpool after that. You could say that Arsenal away is kind of tough, but big derby game, you never know. And then we've got Luton and Fulham after that, which are good fixtures. So again, it maybe depends on how long you intend to hold the player for. Sterling is probably better over the next 4. Maddison's probably better over the next 6. So that's kind of yeah, something to consider. We have got super chats, by the way. I probably should catch up on these before I forget. FPL Dazzle says, would you play Udogie or Henry? Big love, by the way, mate. Dazzle, I would play Udogie, my friend. Callum Brown, thank you for the super sticker there. Didn't see a message, though. If you've got a message, Callum, make sure you let me know. Simon says, Colwell injured. He got a knock. Is Colwell injured? This is the first I'm hearing from it. Oh no, it's not. No. Sorry, no. Yeah, he had a little mini knock in the game, but apparently he's absolutely fine. Yeah, he walked fine after the game. It's not a big issue. He's back in training. Yeah, no long-term issue with Colwell or anything like that. He was just in a little bit of pain in the game, I think. Yeah, sorry, it took me a minute to remember that. Overtino, Richard Overton himself. Thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. I appreciate that, my friend. Raymond James with the $15 Australian super chat. Wow, I'm a lucky boy today. Thank you, Raymond. Do you think I should bring Jesus in? I was thinking of transferring Watkins or Jackson out. What are your thoughts? Or is Jesus just another injury waiting to happen? Jesus, I don't think I would get him in this week. He's got a fixture against Manchester United, and I don't think Jesus is going to be quite ready to play more than, 80, 90 minutes. I feel like if Jesus starts, he probably still only plays 60 odd minutes. I don't even know if he'll start. I think it's more likely Jesus gets some minutes off the bench this game week. But maybe he starts. I'm not quite ready to go for him yet. It's fine to play Watkins. It's fine to play Jackson in game week 4. They've both got good fixtures. So wait one more week, I would say. And then after that, I would say Jesus time from game week 5 onwards. That's definitely what I'm thinking. So that's what I would say to do, Raymond. That is what I would say to do. Right, super chat from Callum says, start Eze and bench Martinelli or get Maddison for Martinelli. I'll just start Eze, I think. Yeah, good pick. Yeah, very decent. Mutlak says, who should I captain this week? Erling Haaland, of course, my friend. There is no better answer than that. And now we're caught up with super chat, so let's continue on. Right, so yes, Maddison, better numbers, particularly in outside of the Luton game, much better numbers. Maddison on all set pieces. If you're asking me a question, who do you prefer, Dan, Sterling or Maddison? I prefer Maddison. It's up to you. If you prefer Sterling, you think he looks good, and he has looked good. He's looked very dribbly. He looked very dribbly, very good, very direct in the West Ham game. Didn't come off for him, but look, he looked good. But in terms of eye test and statistics, and I feel like you need to use both, Maddison is king. A little bit more expensive, maybe worse fixtures, but he's looking like the better pick. So yeah, my recommendation is Maddison, but if you prefer Sterling, he's a very good pick as well. Very good pick. Be interested to see, actually, a quick look at the predicted points between these two players. We would actually be kind of interested to see who's got better predicted points. Let's find midfielders between, 7.7 and 7.2, just to narrow it down as much as possible. Okay, this game week, Foden is got higher predicted points than both of them. Sterling is second and Maddison third. So that's interesting. In terms of the following game weeks, though, so this is game week 4 to 7, we do see Maddison go ahead. In a 2-game week range, I think it's going to be Maddison. Yep. 3-game week range, it's probably going to... still Maddison. All right, 4-game week range, probably should switch to Sterling. No, still Maddison. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, well, basically, straight up, Maddison has high predicted points as well. His numbers are just better, so it doesn't surprise me, even with the slightly more difficult fixtures. So, yeah, there you go. That's that question done. Jaidev says, drop any out at Udogie, Stupinian, Saka, Eze, and Rashford. Oh, if you have to drop one of them, I guess it's a Stupinian. But I wouldn't be confident benching any of those players. Right, here's the next thing. A lot of people thinking about, okay, I want to get a Maddison. I want to get a Sterling. Who should I sell? First of all, if you have the opportunity to sell Ødegaard, or if you have the opportunity to sell the Brighton midfielders, I would do that first and foremost. I would say those are your priority sells in terms of who you want to transfer out for a Sterling or a Maddison. Get rid of Mittelmer, get rid of March, get rid of Ødegaard. Get rid of, if you have a Jota in your team, maybe. Is he listed as a midfielder? I think he is. Get rid of those midfielders that actually no one's really talking about, don't look so good, bad fixtures coming up, get rid of them. After that, if you've got a Rashford and you've got a Martinelli, you need to make a decision, don't you? Because you're not gonna sell Bruno, you're not gonna sell Saka, you're not gonna sell Mbeumo, you're not gonna sell Foden if you have him as well. Yeah, it's got to be between Rashford and Martinelli for a lot of people who you should sell, and it seems like actually I was looking at some numbers. I'll have a look at them now again quickly to see if it's changed. But I was looking at some numbers, and I think most people are selling Rashford. Yeah, they are. Look at this, over 400,000 people selling Rashford. I think they could live to regret that. Martinelli is 270,000 transfers out, to be fair, there as well. So that is still significant numbers. But looking at Rashford's fixtures quickly first, Arsenal on the counter-attack could work. After that, Brighton and Burnley, I think, are two games that are pretty much set up perfectly for Rashford, to counter-attack two very aggressive attacking teams. You can say Arsenal are a pretty aggressive attacking team as well. The next three fixtures, although they don't look amazing on paper, I feel like they actually suit Rashford quite a lot. So I do want to make note of that. Martinelli, kind of a similar situation in some ways, that he does look promising in some ways. This Manchester United game, I don't think looks good for Martinelli. He's going to be head-to-head with Wan-Bissaka, and that's going to spell trouble. It's just there's very few wingers that actually succeed against the likes of Wan-Bissaka. So Gabriel might struggle against United, and he's already been struggling. Particularly without Jesus, particularly without Zinchenko playing behind him, no Xhaka anymore. Martinelli is suffering because of the players around him. After that, though, we've got Everton and Spurs. By this point, and Bournemouth, by the way, by this point, Jesus will be back. That will help Martinelli. I imagine Zinchenko will be ready to go by then as well, or, maybe getting a bit more game time. That's going to help Martinelli. So after this Manchester United game, actually, I think Martinelli could be quite good as well. Will Martinelli and Rashford be as good as Maddison and Sterling? I'm not quite as convinced by that one. And that is the key here. Yes, Martinelli is great. Yes, Rashford is great. But are they as good as Maddison and Sterling? Not sure they are. So, going back to the comparison, looking at their numbers, we know that neither Rashford or Martinelli have wowed us, really, in terms of their FPL output. Rashford only 12 points so far, Martinelli only 10 points so far. So neither of them really scoring major points. But what does the data say? Who is looking better in those underlying numbers? And you could probably tell by this graphic that it is pretty much Rashford. Rashford has the bigger kind of, what do you even call this graph, this diagram? Would you call it like a web diagram, I guess? I think that's what it calls. It's been a long time since I did any math class back in school. But I think it's called a web diagram. We'll call it that. Yeah, you can see that Rashford's kind of blob. What is that called? What's the blob called? Is there any mathematicians or anyone still in school maybe can educate me on the correct terminology here? I clearly don't use this tool enough in streams because I don't even know what to call these things. But yeah, the blob for Rashford is bigger, which is in general a good sign. We are seeing Rashford take more shots, more in the box. He's had how many big chances is that? 0.43 big chances per game. Martinelli has yet to get a big chance. We also see that Rashford's got better XG. Rashford's got better XA there as well. And really the only places Martinelli is doing better than Rashford is he's making more crosses. He's making more final third passes. And he has just pipped him for touches in the box. People saying radar chart. I've not heard that one before. I know it used to be called spider diagram, but I think people changed it, didn't they? They didn't want to call it spider diagram because of kids with arachnophobia or something like that. But yeah, what are the blobs called? If it's called a radar chart or a web diagram, what are the blobs called? I want to hear that. So yeah, so we are seeing Rashford really dominating in this stats that matter. The where we're going to see the points come from, it's going to be XG, big chances, shots in the box. These are the numbers we really want to have a look at. Even big chances created, Rashford has done a little bit more as well. And you would say that Arsenal and Man United maybe had similar difficulty fixtures so far. It's just a case of looking at the future. And I feel like this is the problem with comparing Rashford and Martinelli right now, is that it's difficult to compare these players and make predictions about their future when I think the future of both of these players is going to change. Rashford is now playing on the wing, Rashford is playing in fixtures that suit him a little bit more. Martinelli is going to have Jesus back, and he's going to have Zinchenko back as well, which is going to benefit him. So it's really, really difficult to say, based on previous data, who is actually going to be the better future pick. If I had to guess who's going to do better this game week, I would say Rashford. Rashford does better against Arsenal than Martinelli does against Manchester United. After that, it's anyone's game. Rashford is the more expensive player, so maybe that factors in. If you want to free up a little bit of more money, you can sell Rashford. But in general, for me personally, as someone who owns both Rashford and Martinelli, I'm leaning towards selling Martinelli right now. So hopefully that answers that question, and we can catch up on some Super Chats, which I really appreciate, guys. I really appreciate the Super Chats today. Wasn't really expecting or planning to have Super Chats today, so I appreciate the support on the channel. Adam says, hi Dan, I'm thinking of doing a -4 to take out Mitoma for Eze. What's your recommendation? I would not do that personally. No, I don't think that's worth it, Adam. But I know with these kind of Super Chats, it's usually you really want to do it and you want me to say, yes, do it. If you really want to go for it, it's not a move I would make personally, though. Not for a -4. I don't think it's worth it. If we're talking about taking a -4 to move Mitoma to a Maddison or a Sterling or a Foden, I'd probably be on board. But to Eze, not against Wolves, it's a decent fixture. I'm not convinced that there's any guarantee that you beat your score by 4 points or more. If you want Eze for a long-term pick, then maybe that changes things a little bit. It's if you do it, it really doesn't guarantee success. It's quite a risky move there, to be fair. Still, nobody really knows what the blobs are called, by the way. What are the blobs? Oh, here we go. No one knows. CFC Ethan, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Is Martinelli at Mitoma to Maddison Foden using 2 free transfers worth it? I would definitely consider that. Yeah, I would definitely consider that. 2 free transfers in particular, that could be really nice. You could even do Maddison and Sterling if you wanted to. But yeah, Maddison and Foden works really well as well. I think that would be pretty nice. Lucas says, hi Dan, Baldock to Udogie and rotate Udogie with Estupinian. Yeah, that seems pretty sensible. Martinelli to Sterling, already have Maddison. Concern on Martinelli minutes now. Roll transfer, have 2 in the international breaks. Oh, there are a lot of... That's really difficult, Lucas. That is a really difficult question, my friend. I don't think I'd roll. I think I'd be a bit more aggressive than that, personally. I wouldn't worry about Martinelli's minutes, really. I don't know where that's come from, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still not worried about Martinelli's minutes. For all of the things I've said about him, minutes are not really something I'm concerned with. Certainly not... Yeah, I'm just not. I'm just not worried. He's a great player. He's going to get better when he has the right players around him. So, yeah, no real concern there. But Martinelli to Sterling, would I do that? I don't think I'd do that. I do like the idea of bringing in Udogie as a kind of an option there. So maybe a Bulldog to Udogie. It deals with a defensive issue there as well, doesn't it? So yeah, let's go with that one. Option number 1. FPL Ari says, hi Dan, did Martinelli to Mbumo since the latter was highly owned but tempted to take a hit for Rashford / Mitoma to Maddison and Sterling. Thoughts? I would also be tempted to do that. Yeah, it would sort out your team for the long term. I would be tempted, but Rashford is not such a bad player, really, is he? You should have a bit of money in your bank, though, right? So can you afford to do Mitoma to Sterling or Mitoma to Maddison, which would be even better? If so, yeah, just keep Rashford and just make the Mitoma move. That's what I would do personally. I'd be very open to selling him this week if I had him. Oliver James says, I've got 1 free transfer. Shall I do Mubama to Archer as a bench option or Rashford to Foden? I would never do that bench transfer. No way, Oliver. Not a waste of a transfer, man. You're never going to play either of those players anyway. Rashford to Foden, I don't even know if I love that, really. You mean you could do, but I don't love it. I would, Oliver, honestly, I would just save your transfer. Or do Rashford to Foden. One of them. Kumaren says the blob is called a polygon. That is perfect. That will do. Thank you very much, Kumaren. Yeah, Oliver, I'm not sure. I wouldn't do the first option. I would consider rolling your transfer, to be honest. Rashford to Foden is an option, though, I guess. It could pay off. It could pay off, but it's risky, particularly over a few game weeks' time. This game week, Foden is probably the better pick, right? Oni Ole says, I'm bringing in Kulusevski and Antonio this week. Okay. Antonio, I guess I see the upside. Kulusevski is not a good pick. Just having a look quickly at Kulusevski. Let's find him. Kulusevski's numbers are just not good. It's really not good. So let's see here. So yeah, I'm guessing it's because he scored last game week, but this is what he's got per. Let's go per appearance or per. Yeah, let's go per appearance. He started all games, didn't he? 0.29 XG per game, 0.12 XA per game. Now, if we compare Kulusevski to other midfielders, you're going to see he is going to be way down the list. I can't even see him. He's all the way down here. So there's so many. Midfield slots are so valuable. Kulusevski is way down the list. Maddison is going to do better than him. Bowen is going to do better than him. If you really want to play the upside this week, go for Bowen instead. Just like Sterling, we've spoken about. Foden, we've already spoken about. There is no way I would be picking Kulusevski. No way. Jose. So you will not convince me to say that's a good transfer. It is not. I will never be doing that. It could never be me. Plus, Spurs signing Johnson, right? So Kulusevski could even be rotated long term. I feel like Brendan Johnson at Spurs could maybe get some game time, take some game time from him. Giandre, I am doing a deadline stream too later, by the way, my friend. I just wanted to do a stream this morning as well to make up for lack of content. Right, quickly, defenders. Who's the best defender? Well, I've ordered these defenders by expected goal involvement. So far this season, Estupiñán is at top, no surprise there. Matty Cash is up there as well. Willy Bolly has generated somehow a decent amount of XG, but I wouldn't expect that to continue. And then we've got Chilwell, Udogie, Henry. So really, the best defenders for attacking returns right now. So forget defend. If you want a defender who just gets clean sheets, just go for Gavardio. But in terms of those defenders who you can maybe rotate a little bit, you're looking for those attacking returns, you're looking for that high upside. These are the kind of players I absolutely love. These are the big dogs right now. These are the players who seem like the most attacking defenders at the moment. Really, really nice numbers from each of those. They're all of them already getting attacking contributions, which is fantastic to see, and long may that continue. Estupiñán, Cash, Chilwell, Udogie, and Henry. These are who I like. Kamal says, triple captain the robot. I hope you mean Erling Haaland. I would not be triple captaining personally. I'll be saving my triple captain for double game weeks later down the line. If you really want to triple captain Haaland, though, it's a good fixture. You know, very, very good fixture. But for me personally, I like to use my triple captain on a double game week. And I feel like most of the top managers will be doing the same. Saving that triple captain, saving all of the chips, really, for later down the line, for those double game weeks, for the blank game weeks, and try and deal with them. Right. FPL Ari says, can do that. I meant either of Rashford / Mitoma for Maddison or Sterling. Which would you do this game? You've got to keep in mind Mitoma is highly owned too. I don't really care if players are highly owned personally. That's just me. I pick the players who I think will do the best. If a lot of people agree with me, fine. If a lot of people disagree with me, I'll maybe question it. But ownership is kind of irrelevant in many respects at this time of the season, especially if you're looking at overall ownership. Like, everyone's going to pick, you know, I bet if I look, Solly March is going to be one of the most transferred in players because he's the highest, he's got the highest points. So let's go highest transferred in midfielders. Solly March, he's got 100,000 transfers in. He's up to 10% ownership. He plays Newcastle and Manchester United next, and Brighton have just signed Ansu Fati. So it shows that the ownership there is pretty much irrelevant. People are bringing in Mitoma this week. He's 41% ownership. We've got Newcastle, we've got Man United. Brighton have just signed Ansu Fati, and we're about to get a load of European games, plus these terrible fixtures. Just because a lot of people own them doesn't mean they're great picks. I would be looking to sell all of my Brighton players, with maybe the exception of Estupiñán, just because he's so far ahead in terms of those attacking numbers for defenders. So yeah, wouldn't worry about that. Mitoma would be the player I'd sell, and I'd sell him for Maddison. That is what I would do. It would be a really easy decision. If I was a Mitoma owner right now, it would be an easy decision for me to switch him for Maddison. I would do that in a heartbeat. Right, so yeah, those are your defender picks. I like them the most. If you just want clean sheets, go for Gavardio instead. But those are my favourites. Wouldn't really consider many players outside of those. Right. Here's the thing. We're getting through it, guys. I'm going to answer loads of questions at the end, by the way, guys. I just want to get through the final couple of topics, and then we'll do a Q&A. Everyone can get involved. Don't need to have a super chat or anything like that. Right. Champions League, Group F. Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, and Newcastle. It's a toughie, right, guys? It's a toughie. Yeah, there is going to be no time for rotation for Newcastle. If you're thinking about bringing in Newcastle players soon, obviously they play Brighton this week, then Brentford, but after that, Newcastle have phenomenal fixtures. So a lot of people will be looking at the likes of Isak and maybe Wilson and maybe Trippier and etc, etc, etc. I would reconsider. I really would reconsider. Because it is going to be 2 games a week. Remember, Kieran Trippier is 33 years old. I know a lot of people are looking at him. Kieran Trippier is 33 years old. Livramento has just been brought in for a lot of money. There is a reason Newcastle have done that. There is a reason why Newcastle have spent all that money on a backup right back. And it's because Trippier is not going to be able to play full 90 minutes twice a week in super, super difficult games. There is going to be rotation. There just is. It's going to be rotation. It might not be every game week, but it's going to be frequent enough that it will cause you some disappointments. It really will. Same situation with Isak and Wilson, because there's those 2 great forwards for Newcastle. They are going to be rotated pretty much at random. There's depth with Gordon and Barnes there as well on the wing. Rotation. We are going to see a new era of, a new team that is going to rotate. We've had Pep Guardiola's rotation. We've seen a little bit of Jurgen Klopp rotation. We're probably going to see some Brighton rotation. Welcome everyone to the Eddie Howe rotation, the Eddie Howe roulette. It's here. I don't know if anyone's got a better phrase than Eddie Howe roulette. The Eddie Enigma. I don't know, but basically we're going to see it. Yeah, just be aware of that before you start bringing in those Newcastle players. Just wanted to highlight that. It's a super difficult games here. They're going to have to go full strength in this Champions League group. Next up, I touched on this earlier. Ansu Fati has signed for Brighton. Yeah, Brighton have signed yet another winger. Another attacker to add to their millions of attackers. And Ansu Fati is primarily a left winger. So that's going to be difficult for Kaoru Mitoma. I feel like he is the person most in danger right now. You could arguably say that maybe Fati plays a little bit on the right as well, taking away minutes from March. He's obviously a top player. It's a really crazy signing that they've even pulled this off, even if it is just a loan. This makes it very, very difficult if you own Brighton midfielders. With the bad fixtures they have, the additional winger to rotate there, the European football coming in soon, it's bad. It's a bad time for Brighton assets. So another reason why I would sell them. Fati is just the latest in a long line of problems that we're going to be getting for Brighton, really. So yeah, quick one on that one. What next? Okay, right, yeah. I said I'll talk about this earlier. So this is the next one. This is the situation with goalkeepers. So we've got a couple of new goalkeeper signings to the Premier League. One's name is Odysseus Vlachodimos. Hopefully I haven't butchered that name. Odysseus Vlachodimos has signed for Nottingham Forest. Fairly highly rated goalkeeper, first choice goalkeeper for Benfica over the last year or so, or few years. And yeah, I don't know how old he is. Probably like 20, 27, 28, something like that. And yeah, he's quite good. Is he better than Turner? Probably. So you would say that the long-term first-choice goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest is probably going to be Vlachodimos. And that's not good for Turner, our 4 million goalkeeper for a lot of us anyway right now. Yeah, it could be tough. My opinion on this, honestly, though, is that Matt Turner has done very well so far. I don't think it's so cut and dry that Vlachodimos suddenly comes in and starts for Nottingham Forest every game. I certainly don't think Vlachodimos is going to start this game week, so Turner should be good for this game week. I actually think longer term, that Vlachodimos will come in, but I feel like it's going to take Matt Turner slipping up. I want to see Turner make a mistake or have a couple of howler games, or Vlachodimos really, really succeed, kind of maybe in cup games. It's not going to suddenly happen. It's not going to suddenly happen. So Turner still should be safe for the time. By the time we're all wildcarding, we probably would reconsider Turner. Don't get me wrong. But that is definitely a consideration. I can see already in the chat, people are saying, you know, like Benfica are happy. Yeah, he's had some howlers, hasn't he, Vlachodimos? So yeah, maybe Benfica are happy to get rid of him. I don't know. He has been in previous years a highly rated goalkeeper though. I've seen a couple of Greek-sounding names in the chat as well. They think Vlachodimos is God's gift. He's going to be an amazing goalkeeper. So yeah. Make up your mind there. Do you trust the Greeks, or do you trust the non-Greeks? I don't know. Only Ole says Kulusevski on for a 17-pointer. Heard it here first. I really doubt that, but you go off, King. You go off. Akil says Diaby, Rashford, Pedro for Sterling, Maddison, Wissa. Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that. Good improvement of the team. Jonathan says Onana, Misma, Martinelli to Areola, Foden, and Maddison. I don't mind that. It's okay. I don't think you have to do those transfers though, but it's okay. Alf says international break equals roll transfer to be safe. If you don't have any issues in your team and you can roll a transfer, why not? Why not? It's absolutely fine. Anyway, so we spoke about that. We've also got the Johnston thing, yeah, the Johnston thing as well. I think this one is slightly different. Johnston has been fine, but I feel like Turner has been actively good. I also think Dean Henderson he's a player who clearly has shown time and time again that he is desperate to be the first choice goalkeeper somewhere. And I don't believe he would have signed for Crystal Palace unless he had assurances that he would actually be first choice goalkeeper. So I feel like Johnston owners are in trouble. I am a Johnston owner. I believe I am in trouble. Now, would I react to this now? Like the Turner thing, I definitely would not be reacting to now. I would just see how it goes. I think react to it when we finally see a rotation, but I don't think we're going to see a rotation with Turner anytime in the next few weeks. With Johnston, it might be different. Henderson's already, up to speed with the Premier League. He would have only signed to be first choice goalkeeper. And although Johnston hasn't really done anything wrong, I don't think Johnston's been amazing recently. I think Henderson is, probably the better goalkeeper of the two, isn't he? And a more demanding goalkeeper as well. Johnston was happy to play second fiddle to Guaita last season, so maybe he's going to be happy to be the backup goalkeeper again, all right? So what happens here? Well, I feel like Johnston is good for this game week. I think he's good for game week... for game week 4. Game week 5, you could probably afford to play Turner. Game week 6, you're possibly in trouble. You're possibly in trouble after that. So am I. Yeah, again, wouldn't react to it now. I would probably wait till game week 6 before dealing with the Johnston situation, and maybe we'll get a better idea after that. W.A. Durag says, as a West Brom fan, Johnston is very prone to howlers. Wait, wasn't he your player of the season before he signed for Crystal Palace? I'm sure he was like your best player. I've not really seen too much wrong with him, to be fair, since he started for Crystal Palace. I think he's actually been very good. But is he as good as Henderson? That's the question, isn't it? I don't know if he is. Right, are we almost done with all of the things I wanted to talk about? Oh no, I wanted to quickly look at predicted points as well. And this is the last one, guys. Predicted points, and then we'll answer some questions, and then we'll end the stream. Before we come back later for a deadline stream, of course. We'll go live, I don't know, around like 4. We'll go back live again at around 4 p.m. in a few hours' time. But for now, predicted points. Erling Haaland, top of the list there. No surprise. 9.2 predicted points against Fulham. That's pretty high. Salah is in second with 6.3. Salah's always in second, though. I don't know if I fully trust this anymore. I feel like we are going to slowly see Salah's predicted points like kind of dip lower and lower. Obviously, a lot of the data that's fed into this is previous season data to try and work out whether a player is just in bad form or it's just not enough data to go by. We've only had 3 game weeks, remember? So, yeah, it could be that Salah bounces back and returns to his old self. But who knows? He's so far away from Erling Haaland right now, isn't he? And how much you pay for him is probably not worth it. But hey, 6.3 predicted points. That's second. Third is Phil Foden. So Phil Foden third on the predicted points tool here. 5.9. Pretty decent. Nicholas Jackson up here as well, and Bumo, Saka, Martinelli. Interesting run. Bruno, I don't fancy Martinelli on the positional matchup, but yeah, we've got Bruno Fernandes, Sterling, Odegaard actually. Probably going to see Raheem Sterling a little bit lower. Wissa, Eze, Jesus back in business. Maddison's down here as well. So yeah, really the top predicted points for this game week are going to be Haaland, Salah, Foden, Jackson, and Bumo, and Saka. Those are your big dogs. If we look at a 4 to 7 game week range, probably similar. Haaland, Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Foden, Rashford, Saka. So yeah, these are probably your slightly more longer term players that you want to have in your FPL teams. Super chat from owner Ollie, who says, haha, on a serious note, been following your channel for several years and you've been my go-to guy for tips and help. Thank you for everything you do for us at King. Thank you so much, Ollie. I really, really appreciate that, man. Yeah, just look, I'll keep making content as long as you promise to keep killing it in FPL. That's all I want, my friend. Sirianch says, Eze, Martinelli to Mads and Sterling. Oh, I don't know if I like that. But I already have Alvarez, Jackson, Haaland, Bruno, Saka, Foden in midfield. I don't know who to bench if I make the transfers. It's probably a sign that you shouldn't do it. Maybe just bench Martinelli in that case. Yeah. Or you could maybe bench Alvarez. Possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would keep Eze against Wolves. I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't necessarily buy him, but I wouldn't sell him. I'd rather sell Martinelli than Eze, I think. So maybe Martinelli to Maddison. Yeah, I don't think you need 2 transfers, for sure, Sirianch. I don't know. Hopefully that helps a little. Who else we got? CFC Ethan says, changed my mind, brought in Maddison and Mbumo instead due to Foden's risky mins. That's absolutely fair enough. Foden does have risky mins. Kind of. I don't know. I don't know. He played 90-90. Only got benched last game because he was ill. I think he's going to be straight back in. Longer term, maybe he is a bit risky. But I feel like he's super important while De Bruyne is out. I can't really see Foden getting dropped anytime soon. I'm actually not that worried about his minutes, but I understand why other people would be. Foden is not a player for the faint-hearted. He really isn't. Only own him if you are, at your own peril kind of thing. Yawar Khan says, -4 Martinelli to Maddison, worth it. I don't think I would do that move, no. Not for a -4, I don't think. Like, Martinelli is not a bad pick. The only reason I'm transferring Martinelli to Maddison is because I got 2 free transfers, and I think Maddison is slightly better. There's nothing wrong with keeping Martinelli. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I think he'll get better now. I think he will get better. I really do. Right. Let's continue on. And now, well, I say continue on. Let's end the stream with a Q&A. So, guys, spam random questions. Not random questions, like good questions. I'll look out for the best questions in the chat. We'll answer them as much as we can. Whilst you're typing in those questions, also make sure you like the stream, please. Really, really does help out. Make sure you are subscribing if you haven't done already. And, yeah, do that. Do the likes and the subscribes. And let's have a look at some of these questions. Football Nerd says, Cash or Gusto to start. We'll cover this in the bench list later, but I feel like I should start Gusto. Onana or Turner? Super hard, isn't it? I'll probably go for... I'm going to say Turner. I'm actually going to say Turner. It's tough, but I'm going to say Turner. That could go either way, though. Rashford or Maddison? In a straight pick between the two, I'll go Maddison. When should you be wildcarding? It entirely depends on your team. No Shot says, why are you early? I'm not. This is just a bonus stream. We'll be doing another deadline stream later. Bench Mitoma or Estupinian. Back the attacker and play Mitoma. Bench list later on. Bench list on later stream. Yusuf says, do you rate Fatty? I do rate him, yeah. Just always injured, isn't he? Start Bruno or Watkins. I would back Bruno, I think. Watkins, keep or sell. I think you can afford to keep him. I don't think he's a priority transfer at all. would prioritise those midfielders at the moment. Flecken or Vicario, I feel like maybe I would say... I want to say Flecken, I think. I think we'll go for Flecken. But Vicario is still good. I like them both, but Flecken's slightly cheaper, so let's go for him. Still a no-go now. No, he's yeah, I wouldn't be going for Steele anymore. Verbruggen is kind of there, isn't he? Onana or Areola? I'll definitely play Areola ahead of Onana. We'll cover. We need to cover a lot of stuff on the bench list. I'll try and we'll do a bench list later. That will cover all of this stuff. Buy Gvardiol or Udogie. Depends what you want. High risk, high reward. Udogie, safe 6 points. Gvardiol. Depends how risky you're feeling. I'm more of a risky manager, so I lean towards Udogie, but a lot of the more safe managers would maybe go for Gvardiol there. Keep or sell Erdegaard. Sell, easy sell. FPL Ari says hold Botman or transfer to Gusto. 100% hold Botman. No doubt about that one. Sahil says March to Maddison or save a transfer. I would make the transfer. Sell March, bring in Maddison. I feel like that will pay off not just now, but in the long term as well. Buy Maddison or Foden. I think I'd go for Maddison. Areola or Sanchez. Ooh. Maybe Areola against Luton. Decent fixture, isn't it? What brand of blackcurrant squash is your favourite? Just the cheap stuff from Asda, which is a supermarket in the UK. Is transferring Mbumo in priority over Sterling? I don't think so, not particularly. You don't have to get Mbumo if you don't want to. It's fine to not buy him. Who's the best pick from West Ham? Probably Bowen. Start to Watkins. I'm not going to do the benching and stuff now, I don't think. Siddharth, thank you very much for the super chat that wasn't a super chat. Thank you very much. No message attached there. Right. Everyone wants to know about the benchings, don't they? Mbumo or Foden? I think I prefer Foden. Onana to Edison? Yeah, you could do if you can afford it. Dan, any 3 West Ham picks? I would go Bowen, James Ward-Prowse, Antonio. There you go, there's 2. Bowen is my favourite. Start Cameron Archer. If you really don't have much else going on in your team, you could start Cameron Archer. It's not the worst thing you could do. Vicario for Onana. It's not a terrible transfer. I don't mind it. If you have Johnson and Turner, keep them both for now. Vitislav says, would you do one of Rashford / Diaz into Sterling or Maddison? Missed price changes. Yeah, I probably would move Diaz to Maddison. Probably. Thinking of captain Bowen. If I had to captain one player whose name was not Erling Haaland, it possibly would be Bowen, to be fair. So, there you go. Is Akanji a keep? Yes, he is. He's back. He's going to be available. He's going to be absolutely fine. Foden or Bruno? Foden this game week, but Bruno possibly long term. I like them both. Sterling or Foden? I think I genuinely prefer Foden, but that's not going to be very popular. For me, the order is Maddison, Foden, Sterling, and Mbumo, I guess, in terms of the midfielders that everyone's buying this week. That's probably my order. Bart says, Foden in for Rashford and -4. Not sure I want to... Is that actually the real Bart Verbruggen? Is that actually... No, surely not. But it's the Super Chat's in euros, so you never know. Foden in for Rashford -4. I don't know if I do that. I like Rashford long term, but I do like Foden. I think the -4 is the thing that swings me towards Rashford. So I'm gonna say keep Rashford, unless you are the real Bart Verbruggen, in which case you play against Rashford like in a couple of weeks, right? You don't want to put Rashford in your own team against yourself, right? So maybe go for Foden. And that will give you extra motivation to keep Rashford's shots out of the back of your net. Lewis says, Gabriel to Gvardiol using a second free transfer, bench of Stupinian. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Lewis, I like it, my friend. I like it. That seems pretty good. All right, I think, have we answered enough questions? I feel like we probably have. Of course, we're going to do like a 2-hour stream. Oh, we've got one more super chat. Oscar says, worth saving Mitoma... Estupinian for Bournemouth. Oh, and I'm guessing that is and. Worth saving Mitoma and Estupinian for Bournemouth. Not really, no. I'll get rid of Mitoma. I would keep Estupinian for Bournemouth though. But yeah, get rid of Mitoma. There's no guarantee he even starts in that game. If Ansu Fati starts in that game, then, you know, the whole thing was pointless, right? So no, it's too many good midfielders right now. Right, we're going to leave that there. We are going to do another stream later. In about 3 hours' time, we're going to be live again, and we'll be answering all of your questions. Once again, we'll be covering a lot of the bench-related topics. And once again, sorry for the excessive plugs, but, you know, it's important to keep the channel afloat whilst we're not, you know, we're not doing paywalled content or gambling sponsors or really any sponsors at the moment. This is the only thing I'm promoting at the moment because I think it's a really good product, and I don't take a lot of I don't take a lot of sponsorships because I don't think they are very good products, and I want you guys to get the best. FPL Harry says, can you talk about Sterling's minutes with Palmer in? We'll do that later, Harry, but I don't think it really affects it. Don't worry about it, basically. But yeah, subscribe to Fantasy Football Hub. Right now is your final chance today, before the Game Week 4 deadline. It is your final chance to get the best deal you're going to get all year. 50% off your Fantasy Football subscription, Fantasy Football Hub subscription. Plus, if you don't win your mini league, they will give you your money back for your yearly subscription. You get this offer if you sign up to Fantasy Football Hub using the link in the description before the deadline today. This is your final call. After that, I'll probably be able to get you some decent deals. Don't get me wrong. I'll try and get you some deals, but you're not going to get one as good as this one. I can guarantee you that one. You are not going to get 50% off your whole year's membership and the money back guarantee there either. You're just not going to get it again this season. So if you've been following me this season so far, you've been watching the streams, you've been seeing a lot of the tools I've been using, and you've kind of been thinking, actually, that would be kind of useful. I kind of like to use some of these, you know, the My Team tool or the predicted points, the Opta stats, whatever. If you've been watching these and thinking, yeah, I kind of want to use these, I think these will be useful for me to make my FPL decisions. Yes, now is the time. Now is the time to get involved. It is good stuff. It really is good stuff. I love it. You guys know I love it. I wouldn't recommend it otherwise. But, right, 3 hours. I'm going to go and play some Xbox, I think. I think I deserve a little break after the last couple of days' upload schedules. But feel free to check out some of the other uploads. If you did enjoy this one, drop a like, do subscribe. And I will be back in 3 hours' time. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. And, well, see you in 3 hours, mates. Bye-bye.